Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your weekly music roundup here at Music News Blitz, powered by SIP Media Solutions. It's us again, the good trio. I'm Anna Ferraz, your host, and I'm joined again by our writers, Nisha, Cullen, and Katie Slater. How are you guys doing?
Great, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, doing well here. And we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff today. The basis being almost rebellion and legacy in music. We're going to be talking about genre blending and a bunch of fun stuff. So let's get started. We're going to talk about Katie's article first. And Katie's going to be talking about a new band. Well, a band that we want to talk about. It's called Girl Group. And the context behind it is that we've kind of seen in the music industry, specifically the UK music industry, we may have like 53.8% of the music workforce being women, as you said in your article, Katie. But deeper research does reveal otherwise. So Girl Group kind of shies away from these challenges that we're going to be talking about. So Katie, why don't you get into that? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so Girl Group, they're a newish band. I think they've been around for about a year now. And they kind of, rather than coming together over like a shared love for one particular genre of music, it was more about this unified political message. So they're a very DIY group. They produce all their own music. And all their Instagram is very much, it's more just about their lives. And, you know, it feels like you're really getting an insight into them as people. But they've got this quite like deep anti-misogynistic political message, really. And it's all about how women fit into the music industry and how they're perceived and all that kind of stuff, really.
Yeah. And you say you got this DIY kind of style. What do you mean by that?
So they produce all their own music, but they also, so when they first started, they were filming a lot of their own music videos as well. And the first gig they did, it was a house gig. So they set up like their kitchen into like this whole set where they had like changing instruments and different things going on in the background as well. So it was all, you know, kind of like very, very grassroots, really. And they all started off in like the little small Liverpool venues and all of that kind of thing.
I love that. We love to see more female artists coming through in that UK music industry. Nisha, have you heard of them?
I haven't, no. But I'm really intrigued because I like, first of all, amazing message because, you know, it should be the way. And yeah, they sound really cool. I definitely will check them out because sound very awesome.
Yeah. And Katie, you talk about in your article, you kind of talk about the concept of the boys' club in the music industry. So, I mean, from what you've seen, where do you think that gatekeeping kind of shows up today, whether that be in the UK industry or worldwide music industry?
I mean, I think it's a lot of the way through, really, from like the very early stages to like the big stages as well. I know with Girl Group, they first noticed it when they were at uni together. So they went to LIPA, which is like a performing arts uni in Liverpool. And they noticed that like it was often the boys that would go away to like the recording studios and they'd invite one girl sometimes as almost like a guest singer, and that was kind of like the culture that came from it. And I think a little bit higher up as well, we see that the place women are expected to kind of take is like this muse role. So they're like the star, they're the one on stage, but they're not necessarily like involved in the production or the promotion or the label side of things. They're often, you know, they're the big focus and they're not part of the more behind the scenes kind of things that are going on as well.
Yeah, I love that. And the fact that they produce, sing, they kind of do it all. And also that kind of vibe they have, that DIY, glittery pop kind of thing. To me, it feels more like an identity than an aesthetic choice. Nisha, do you think we would talk all about authenticity on this podcast? What do you think about that? Do you think maybe like this is something going forward, kind of showing identity through your kind of aesthetic? It's not really about the aesthetic, maybe about what it can connote?
Yeah, I think definitely. And I think that kind of the fact from what Katie said, they kind of have that message of like girls being at the front and center and being like, we're behind this and we're in front of this and we're involved with everything. And I think showing that through kind of, you know, glamorous things and like
Mm.
this kind of aesthetic, I think that's like a really cool message to have, that like you can be kind of girly, but you can also, you know, fight for our rights as well.
Yeah, amazing. I love it. It's you say in your article, Katie. It's kind of like this glittery brat pop. You know, it sends through that statement. It's a great article, guys. Please go and check it out after you watch this. Um, and as we're on the topic of kind of these different statements that we're seeing through genres and even in the pop rock world, Nisha wrote a brilliant article revisiting 1975's album. Now, I wrote this down. I like it when you sleep. I like it when you sleep. You were so beautiful, yet so unaware of it. That was 10 years ago, you guys. And Nisha, I know you love the 1975. You have a tattoo of them.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So you were the person to ask about this. Tell us about the album and its impact that we've seen even 10 years later today.
So I think you have to really compare it to their first album, their self-titled album. And it's such a kind of it leans more into that pop, but then you also kind of have some electronic elements, you know, sort of 80s. The most popular song off it, The Sound, I think that's really, you know, it became a pop song. It was a very popular song. And I think it you see elements of the 1975 as we know them today. So like you have the self-titled and then you have I Like It When You Sleep. And I think now they've kind of found a balance between that kind of grungy rock, kind of antsy, um, and then that kind of pop, that kind of, you know, synths and stuff like that. I think they've really found a balance of that. But yeah, I love this album so much. It was what introduced me to the 1975, 10 years ago, which I cannot believe. I think it was released on the 26th of February, so it's very close to the 10-year mark.
Oh, we're almost there. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
And I mean, sonically, does it differ from more of their recent music? Is it unique?
I think it's probably more similar to their recent music. Their last album, Being Funny in a Foreign Language, definitely has that kind of those pop elements, and I had those songs that did go popular because they kind of have those pop elements. And I think it has similarities, but also has differences that are more similar to their first album as well.
Yeah, I love it when bands and artists always progress throughout. Guys, I'm gonna mention Taylor Swift again. I do it in every episode, and I'm gonna do it again. We've seen it with Taylor Swift. We've seen it with her different eras. Almost how these artists they you know, in Taylor's case, she kind of did it to blend into a different version of herself and different versions throughout all of those eras and times. But what I love about the 1975 is they kind of stay true to their roots, especially in their music and their music style. Katie, are you a fan of 1975?
Yeah, I used to be a big fan when I was younger. I think I've been to about 3 gigs of theirs. I haven't really like listened to much of their newer stuff, but I used to really love them when I was younger. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I think we're kind of talking about this whole idea of legacy in music. We see that with girl group, they leaving a legacy behind of almost resistance and rebellion. I mean, Nisha, the crazy question, I don't know if like I'm gonna ask anyways, but I mean, if you could describe the legacy you think 1975 will leave behind in the future, when, you know, knock on wood.
God forbid.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be horrible. their legacy. How would you describe your legacy? Let's say you're talking to your children, and you're like, "Mom, what was their music like? Like, why do you have a tattoo on your arm? What's so special about them?"
Oh, it's such a loaded question because sort of like what you said with Taylor Swift, there were these kind of eras. So I think if you look at their early stuff, the first thing that pops into my mind is Tumblr and like that Tumblr era. And, you know, they kind of went hand in hand with like Arctic Monkeys and the AM album. Um, but nowadays, I think they're a little bit for everyone. They're less of that kind of, you know, indie, which is what they kind of represented before. And I think they are kind of for everyone. Me and my dad, we both love them and like we've been to a few of their gigs together. So I have that memory. But I think, oh, that is it is such a loaded question. I think definitely the Tumblr thing just comes to mind. Because that was kind of their first album, what they were. They were a Tumblr artist.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. It's crazy to see the progress and development across all of that, and it's exciting to see now with new groups, KT Light Girls group. We're going to see how they develop and the legacy they leave behind. I'm loving what they're doing at the moment, and it's exciting stuff. Katie, what is a song from any of their EPs or that you would tell everyone to listen to?
I would say so. My favourite is called Flink Pike. It's like a
Yeah,
Norwegian word, and I think it means something like good girl or something like that. And it's kind of this idea of being like the perfect woman, and you know, you're working really hard, but you're also keeping, you know, like your personal like grooming routines, whatever, like your beauty routines, really up those on. It's just really, really catchy. I think it was one of my most streamed songs of last year. I really love
really. Oh, guys, I can't wait to see what you guys' Spotify top 3, let's see, songs are going to be at the end of this year. I cannot wait to see that. Yeah, so I think that we're going to end that today, and I think we've touched on some really great things. Exciting stuff coming up. Please go and read the articles. They are incredible. I will keep saying this. Nisha and Katie are one of our most talented group of writers on Music News Blitz. So I really do encourage you to go and read. And we're going to see some exciting changes coming up. We're going to think of adding new stuff to this podcast. And all I say is keep watching and stay up to date. And yeah, here's to music, guys. Music, rebellion, legacy. It's got it all. And I love talking with you about it. So thank you. Goodbye.
it. See you later.
Bye.
Cheers.